Greetings and salutations, travelers of the internet, and welcome to the Lit Round Table. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Anna. We'll be your wise or not so wise mentors for today's audio adventure into all things storytelling. Welcome.
We're back.
Yes, sorry about the missing week. My computer it's not either it hates me or it doesn't, it just hates me.
Mm-hmm.
And it throws temper tantrums. And last time we tried to record this, it decided that it would not. Period.
Yeah. So there's a new computer on the way.
Yes, there is.
And we're just hoping that this one can limp along until it gets here. So here's hoping that this goes. If you're listening to this, it went well. And
right. So far, it does seem to be handling things okay. So,
yeah,
which is good. It's
very
a little
good.
Stressful, but it's good.
Yeah, technology.
Yes. So this week we're going to talk about NaNoWriMo, which if you don't know what that is, you're going to find out.
I know.
What is it, Joseph?
Me. It's National Writing Month.
National Novel Writing Month. Yes.
Okay, yeah, specifically novel.
Yes, that's where the nano.
Yeah.
Which, if you've seen the title of this episode, you've seen how it's spelled. So, theoretically, if you clicked on this episode, you saw the title.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're going to talk about what NaNoWriMo is, how it started. But before we get into that, let's talk about what we're reading, watching, playing, all that good stuff. I'll let you go first.
Cool. So my watching list is the longest.
Okay.
So I am fully caught up on You, which is that show on Netflix that I made you watch an episode of and you hated it. Well, you didn't hate it. It disturbed you.
It greatly disturbed me.
There's 3 seasons now, and I've seen them all. Apparently, they're also books. I didn't know that. Those were books before it was a show.
Ugh.
Which makes sense if you've seen the show.
Yeah. I understand the appeal. It's not a show I can watch by myself. It gives me heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, I want to say it gets better, but also my experience watching it would never be the same as a single female watching it alone in her house.
Yeah, no thanks.
Because it's about a guy that stalks people, and he stalks women, and I'm not a woman, so
yeah, no,
I've never had to worry really about being stalked, so I'm not about to downplay your disturbed feelings.
Thank you.
But it is fascinating. It's more like morbid curiosity that keeps you watching, but it's very popular, and it has 3 seasons on Netflix, and I just finished the 3rd season because it came out before spooky October season, and I finally finished it. So,
nice.
Boy, did that show go off the rails. But anyway, I've also...
I would like to say that it started off the rails. The first episode.
You don't even know.
I know, but I'm just saying, I don't know that it was ever on any rails.
Yeah, so when I say it went off the rails...
It went
by
off
that
a cliff?
show's standards, it derailed and exploded.
Okay.
But not in a bad way. Like plot wise, it was still good, but it was whoa.
Yeah.
Anyway, also watching Critical Role Campaign 3, which at the time of recording this, they are 4 episodes in. Although I haven't seen the 4th one because I was working Thursday night, so I have to wait for the video to release on YouTube Monday.
I should start watching that now so that I don't have a ton of stuff to catch up on.
You should.
I already have 12 hours to catch up on. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in 2022, they are not going to stream on the last Thursday of each month. So there will be a catch-up week each month starting next year. So... yeah. So if you get crazy behind, you'll at least have a week where you can catch up. So
that's nice.
But that's not starting until next year. So this year you got to just keep up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's been fun. On YouTube, I've also been watching Buzzfeed Unsolved Supernatural with Shane and Ryan,
Me too, since you
which
mentioned it.
that's what I was watching while I was eating lunch today.
Oh, nice.
And it was the most recent one. Yeah, that's always never fails to entertain. It's a great time.
I'm going to watch that after we're done. That's my plan.
Cool. There you go.
So.
And Hope got me on this anime on Funimation called Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, which I mentioned to you before.
Yes.
The name sounds weird. Okay, it's about this ghost that haunts a bathroom in a school, right? That's where you get toilet bound.
Okay.
And the ghost's name is Hanako-kun. So that's like why the show's named what it is. But it's like whimsical. The animation style is really fun and kind of different from most anime I've seen. It kind of reminds me of Gravity Falls, if any of you have seen that on Disney. It's like Japanese Gravity Falls because they're like hunting around for these the school wonders, which are like these different ghosts that haunt these different parts of the school and do different things. And so it's like got this interesting supernatural mystical element, and it's charming, it's fun, it's got fun music.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll have to add it to my list.
Yeah,
I have a very
if you
long
haven't seen
list.
Gravity Falls is on Disney Plus, and that show is incredible.
Okay.
It's American for sure, but it's like about these kids that are staying with their grunkle Stan, who's like their great uncle, and for like the summer, and he runs this shop called the Mystery Shack, and it's like totally a scam, and it's just like a tourist trap thing where he sells like, oh, this is a two-headed mermaid,
Gotcha.
that kind of thing. It's the Mystery Shack,
Nice.
full of odds and ends, but there's like other supernatural, like legitimate supernatural things that are happening in the forest that the kids discover, and they're like uncovering all of these secrets and plots and stuff, and it's very fun. It's a very good show. Gravity Falls. Highly recommend. That's it for watching, although I do have to mention that at the time of recording this, we are 6 days away from Wheel of Time. And
Yay!
I could not be more excited. I'm so pumped. And also Witcher Season 2 is coming out next month.
Oh.
So
I wasn't sure when exactly it was coming, but that's exciting.
For that. And there's a trailer out for that too, if you're interested.
Mm-hmm.
There was also a trailer that came out for the next season of Stranger Things, if you haven't seen that.
Oh.
I forget when that's coming out, but there is a trailer for season 4. Okay, so that's it for watching. Reading, I am getting close to the end for The Shadow Rising, which is the 4th book of Wheel of Time. And which is good. That one was longer, so like it gave me more time to chew through it, so that this way now I have an Audible credit, so I can like get the next one right away instead of having to wait a week, because the last one was kind of shorter. I'm approaching the end of that, and we are still reading The Blade itself for our read-along. Those have pretty much been it for me for reading. And for playing, I have still been playing Persona 5 Royale. And I did pop in Skyrim briefly the other day because it was the 10-year anniversary of the game. There's like a new update that came out, so I like popped in for just a minute, but I didn't really play. But we are also still playing The One Ring, which we managed to kind of finally escape from this goblin cave that we were in for a couple of sessions, and nobody managed to die. So...
And Merwin, my character, finally activated beast mode for the first time. Really.
Yeah, you one-shot
a couple
monster.
Wolves, which is great.
Yeah. That was a good job.
Very happy.
Yeah. When you hit hard.
Yes. Unfortunately, I don't hit very often because I'm super weary.
It's interesting how you and another character balance each other out, because there's another character named Poro. He's a hobbit who kind of took on this role as like also being a really good fighter, even though he's supposed to be like not. but it's funny because he hits more consistently but does less damage. But like yours is definitely a higher reward when you do hit, because you just unleash an insane amount of damage.
Yeah.
It's really crazy.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's been fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's it for me, I believe. Hopefully I don't think of anything later, but we'll see. Maybe I will. So yeah. How about you?
So, since you did watching first, I'll do watching first and then do my reading and whatever.
Okay.
I'm playing The One Ring. That's my playing.
Yeah, that's fair.
But for watching, I just watched Snow White with the Red Hair, which is an anime on Funimation. And it is so stinking cute and just lovely. I really enjoyed it.
I've heard really good things about that one, but I haven't seen anything for it. I've seen no art or anything, so
it's really fun. It's about a girl that has red hair.
Okay.
Which is
the math checks out.
Yeah, which is very unusual. And she is an herbalist, so she does a lot of things with plants and things. Like she makes remedies for people in her hometown. The prince.
She's a witch.
She's not a witch.
I know.
But
just being a turd.
She because she has this beautiful red hair and everyone's very envious of it, the prince of her home country requests that she become a consort for him. And because she's...
Does that mean what I think it means?
Yes.
Oh.
But because she is incredible, she lops off her hair and leaves it for the guard that's coming to collect her the next day and runs away.
Nice.
Since the prince really only wanted her hair, she left her hair behind for him. So she's got this really cute little bob.
Nice.
And runs to a neighboring country and makes some really incredible friends. And it's just really very sweet.
Sounds fun.
It is really fun. I think that the manga is longer than the anime. The anime only got, I'm not sure if it got 2 parts or if it got 2 seasons. It's a total of 24 episodes.
Okay.
Sometimes anime does seasons. Funny.
They'll split the season in part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
But they have totally different vibes, so you'll think it's a whole season split.
Yes.
Yeah.
But unlike, I was kind of worried that it was going to be like Yona of the Dawn and that it was going to end on a major cliffhanger because it didn't get another season. But they actually they ended it in a way where it's oh, I feel comfortable that it ended.
Yeah.
But there was room for more things to happen, but it didn't leave you thinking wait, hold on.
Right.
It just ended. There's so much more story to tell, which is what happened with Yona. So that was nice. So it's a nice short little anime.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm also watching Ouran High School Host Club.
Classic.
On Netflix. Yes. It's an anime, but it's available on Netflix in English. So I've been watching that. It's nice when I'm sewing because I don't have to totally watch it because it's pretty fluffy.
Oh, yeah.
I also watched Yuri on Ice on Funimation, which is an ice skating anime. It's
Had you not seen any of that before? Or had you only seen a couple?
I had seen the first 6 episodes. 5 or 6 episodes.
Okay. You had seen more than me. I've only seen 2 episodes.
Yeah. So I finished the show. Oh my gosh. So good. And it just made me really hungry for pork cutlet bowls because the main character loves pork cutlet bowls.
Yep.
It's his thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's ice skating, which I love anyway. If I were to ever follow a sport, sports fanatics do,
It'd be figure skating.
it would be figure skating.
Yeah.
Because it's so pretty.
Yeah. It's artistic.
And so impressive. Yes.
It's a performance.
Mm-hmm. I also went and saw the My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission movie.
Oh, me too. I forgot
theaters.
about that.
It was good. I think you liked it more than I did. The more I sit on it, the more I'm yeah, it's not my favorite of the movies. I liked it. Mm-hmm. But I like the other movies maybe a little more. Just because there's more of the other characters that you're super familiar with in the other ones.
Yeah, it's fair.
But it was a good story.
Mm-hmm.
So. And we're also watching Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Did you mention that?
I did not.
Yeah, so we're still watching that on our anime night. It's a little dark.
I forget how many dark moments this show has.
It's a lot, but it's good. I'm very
It's like
invested.
there's dark moments, but there's also enough like fluffy, like lighthearted moments to like balance it out.
Yeah.
Just enough to make me forget about the dark moments.
Yeah. The main character's younger brother, Alphonse, is just
The best.
perfect.
Yeah.
I just love him so much. I want to hug him so badly. He's just adorable. And like so
He's great.
such a cinnamon roll character. But like totally tough. Like can take care of himself. But just very caring and sweet to everyone. I'm Team Alphonse. For sure. Okay, and then for what I'm reading, still working on the Once and Future Witches. I finished reading Why I Wake Early, which is another poetry collection of Mary Oliver's, and now I'm reading her collection called Thirst. So, I'm enjoying the poetry. Speaking to my soul, as poetry does. I also read The X Hex, which is like I read it, I think I started it on Halloween, but it's a romance, which I don't usually read or listen to, but it was fun. It was a good little, if you like romance, you should check it out. It's very cute. It's about witches. Halloween.
Cool.
And before we recorded this, like not even 2 minutes before we started recording, I finished reading The Hobbit for book club.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Skills.
In my feels about The Hobbit. But
I still remember, isn't the last line him handing someone a tobacco jar? Because I feel like that's the last line. And because I remember reading it in grade school and skipping ahead to like the last line and just reading the last line. I think that's what it is.
The last line is, "Thank goodness," said Bilbo, laughing, and handed him the tobacco jar.
I knew it!
Which is in
Gandalf,
response, right? Bilbo is saying that to Gandalf.
Okay.
And the last thing Gandalf says is, "You are a very fine person, Mr. Baggins, and I am very fond of you, but you are only quite a little fellow in a wide world after all."
My heart.
I know. So good.
Makes me want to cry.
Okay, so I know that we already did like our whole spiel about the Hobbit movies. But, question for you. Because when I was reading the part about the last battle, which is only like a chapter and a half, maybe. Like it's split between 2 chapters, and both chapters have other things in them. Before and after the battle. But in the book, the men and the elves are obviously together. They're trying to negotiate with Thorin. It's not going particularly well. The dwarves show up. They're bound to fight the dwarves. And then the goblins show up. And immediately, Gandalf is like, "Hey, dwarves, get over here." Dane's dwarves. So we can, there's still room to like, and time to have a council here. So then they're a united front then. They don't even like, it even says in the book, like all other disputes were forgotten. Like they put all of that aside.
Yeah, in the movie though, we got to see the elves and the dwarves actually duke it out for like a minute.
Okay. I'm glad I was like, I know I just watched these movies, but I don't remember that they had like this moment of like, oh, we've got to like join forces. And then
no, like,
so then
the goblins
there's like
showed up while they were fighting.
Okay.
Pretty much.
So then there's because like in the book, the goblins show up just before things start to get really heated. Like that's what's going to happen, and then the goblins show up and they're like, "Oh, nope, never mind. We have bigger fish to fry." And it even like there's a line in the book that's like, on one side was the goblins and the wild wolves, and on the other was the men, dwarves, and elves. Like very united fronts. So another thing for me to be upset about the movies for.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There's a few of those.
Yes. There's other podcasts for that. But since I just read it, I was like, wait, am I remembering that correctly? Because I don't want to rewatch the movies to remind myself.
They do fight briefly, which is a really entertaining like fight sequence.
Yeah.
Because it just kind of scratches the itch of like, what would happen if they actually fought? But like, it's not lore accurate, but it's fine. There are other times when the dwarves and elves definitely fight, but you got to read the Silmarillion for those.
Yes. Okay, so Thorin's folk not joining the battle right away, very true to the book. Except that no one's like, Thorin, where are you? It's just like all of a sudden they bust out the mountain and everyone's like, oh yeah, Thorin. We were so sidetracked by all this other stuff, we forgot that there were even dwarves in the mountain. So, yeah. I have not started reading this, but I recently found myself at a Barnes & Noble, as I am wont to do.
Danger.
And I found...
Ooh, you got it!
I did. I got the first
it's so
book.
Cool.
I got the first book of the Wheel of Time series, and the reason that I bought it, because I was like holding out, because it's not like the series is going anywhere. Except now I'm going to have to like buy them quickly, because they're finally putting them out again, not as mass market paperbacks. They're like a full-size novel.
Yeah.
Which, one of my biggest like hindering points, which is not quite the word I want to use, but whatever, to starting to read them, is that they're too big a book to read as a mass market paperback. They're too cumbersome. And I, like, this, listener, you can't see this, but I have a mass market paperback of The Hobbit. It's very small. It's not very big. Like, it fits in your hand nicely.
Yeah.
That's acceptable. But the mass market paperbacks of the Wheel of Time books are so big.
Yeah, they're big.
And
they're
obnoxious.
Chunky.
And, like, the text is so small. Anyway.
And they all have, like, over 40 chapters.
Yes. So I was very excited to see, like, a bigger version in print. Because this is, like, more manageable for the size of story that it is for me. So, yeah, I only bought the first one, Joseph. So if you haven't done my Christmas shopping yet, I'm not putting them on my Amazon because I want them in this size. But it's like as big as my head.
I got you.
They had ones that had like the show art on it, but I like.
Oh yeah, you want the actual art.
Yeah.
The OG art.
Yeah.
But that's
which
a really
they only had it
copy.
on the first book, so isn't it pretty? I know. I was very happy. I'm sorry that all of yours are mass market paperbacks, but that's all that was available.
I don't really care about that as much as you. But
I know. It's funny.
My mass market paperbacks don't have the like cheesy 90s fantasy art on them.
That's true. They don't. Which I
like more.
Honestly, like if they had this size with the art that's on yours, I would have been like ecstatic.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Right.
So I'm giving
But at least the art that's on yours is like small. Like it's not like the entire cover, you know.
Right.
They cropped it.
It's kind of fun. It's like this copy of The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll take pictures of these and you can put them in the video version so that people that are watching on YouTube can see what we're talking about. Yeah.
But that's cool. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, me too.
So the first season is going to pull from book 1 and book 2 and a little bit of book 3.
Okay.
They're compressing things, which is good because it's like 14 books long.
Right. I will definitely not be able to like read and keep up with the series. Like I will have to just accept them as separate things in my brain, which is fine.
They're alternate timelines.
I am getting better at doing that with things, except for The Hobbit. The Hobbit is the one thing that I cannot like get my brain to. Anyway.
Well, in A Wheel of Time, it's easier to do because there's like canon. It's like a thing. Yeah. Anyway, you'll see.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I'm excited to have like a copy of it that I'm like excited to actually pick up and hold in my hands.
There are alternate weaves to the pattern that could have been, but weren't. So it's like, it's like some interesting like alternate universe stuff that can happen.
Interesting.
In the series. Not like anyway, it's not like the alternate universe thing isn't like a huge part of it so far. It's not like a sci-fi thing with like, oh, we're interacting with characters from our alternate universe. Like it's not like that. But there's definitely like you can, in my head, I am imagining the show as like an alternate weave to the pattern of
Gotcha.
the Wheel of Time. Also, this is kind of just fun news for the book too. The actress that plays Moraine, who is from Pride and Prejudice, what's her name?
Rosamund Pike.
Rosamund Pike. There's going to be an audiobook version of Eye of the World, the first book that she narrates. She's going to narrate the first book for like a certain edition of the audiobook. So
That's awesome.
that's
Okay.
very cool.
Speaking of audiobooks, there was an article or something floating around recently about audiobook producers wanting to replace the voice actors that do audiobook readings with artificial intelligence, which is so wrong on so many levels. It was all over book Twitter for a while because people were really upset about it for good reason.
I just had such a visceral negative reaction to what you just said.
Because it would be like having Siri read you a book, which is just not it.
You can't have like the dramatic.
Never mind that Siri was created from a voice actress's voice, and then just like turned into a composite. Anyway, so that was some like drama. I don't know what's happening with that. Hopefully nothing. Hopefully they were like, oh, this is a bad idea and dropped it. But I was thinking about how many voice actors there are that do not cross over into like TV or movies or like that kind of more traditional media. And because I'm like super excited about the idea of Rosamund Pike reading these audiobooks because I've heard her read. She read one of the Jane Austen books. I can't remember which one now that I listened to on Audible.
She like has experience doing that.
Yeah, and she's
already.
phenomenal.
That's cool.
But I'm trying to decide like how I ethically, if I feel like it's fair that these audiobook houses are giving projects to like mainstream actors when there are a lot of voice actors that like that's all they do, because it seems unfair to like take that. But it's mostly happening with classics. Like Richard Armitage read David Copperfield. And all of the Jane Austen ones that I listened to were like, there are audiobook versions of them available from traditional voice actors, but there are also these ones that have been reproduced with actresses and actors that you may find familiar. Like Billie Piper did one of them, who's one of the companions from Doctor Who.
I feel like it's like, with the Wheel of Time one, it's at least being done by someone who plays one of the main characters on the show. Like that makes sense to me, and I doubt that they would have her do every book. I feel like this might be a one and done situation.
Yeah,
that's just me, because 14 books and a prequel novella, that's a lot of reading.
And audiobooks for these already exist, like you're listening to them. Yes,
and the people that do read the audiobooks, they're I know their names are Mike and Kate. I don't remember their last names, but people just call them Mike and Kate on like Wheel of Time Reddit and all that. They're like so beloved, and like that's the voice that everyone has in their head when they think of Wheel of Time for audiobooks. Like that's I don't think they can ever just redo all of them without them doing the...
Right. I guess I wasn't thinking specifically about Wheel of Time. I just meant like in general. I don't know what I guess sound off in the comments if you have an opinion about voice actors and traditional actors interacting in the audiobook world.
Yeah.
You'll have to tell me. I mean,
if you ever do listen to the audiobook that she's doing, the Maureen actress, you have to let me know how it goes.
Yeah, I will. I guess like voice acting and acting are different skills. So if an actor has the skill of being a voice actor, then maybe that's okay. Like I wouldn't be mad about let's use Matt Mercer as an example. Because has he done like traditional, has he shown his face in things, or is he always voice acting?
I feel like he has shown his face in like a couple tiny things, nothing big, and he's mostly just a voice actor.
Okay, so I would not be opposed to Matt Mercer landing like a big role on something where like his person is like the character.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be hypocritical to be like, I'm not trying to gatekeep. I'm just curious like what the voice acting community feels about these traditional actors and actresses coming into the audiobook field and taking potential jobs. But maybe there are things that wouldn't be reread if it wasn't, you know what I mean? And if it is classics that are, oh my gosh, what is the term?
Fair use?
Thank you. Classics that are fair use, like, I guess do what
Dracula.
you want with them. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that Richard Armitage he's broken more into voice acting also because he voices one of the main characters on Castlevania.
Oh yeah. That's true.
So he has experience doing that kind of thing, and he has a great voice. Like,
oh, for
the man's
sure.
just got a wonderful voice. Although I've only ever heard him do like the one voice. Like that's it's just his voice. It's just Richard Armitage. I don't know if he does a ton of.
I feel like his voice for Thorin is different than the voice he had for Sir Guy.
Oh, sure.
Don't you think?
Yeah, he does. He definitely has a distinct accent, though. It's not like with a lot of American voice actors. Like they'll do a ton of accent work, and it's like they're a chameleon. But I feel like for some other ones, it's not so much a thing that they do.
Yeah.
Although, as entertaining as it is to hear someone who's not American do an American English accent, those can be very entertaining.
I'm sure it's just as entertaining for them to hear Americans try to do like Scottish and
Hello,
Irish
I'd like
accents.
to order a burger, please.
Yeah.
Aw, dang it. You're out of ketchup?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
We should probably start talking about NaNoWriMo.
Well, there's not like I have stuff to talk about, but it's not going to be like one of our... I think this was a good conversation.
Oh, it's still good. But so all that to say, I'm super pumped. I'm super pumped for Wheel of Time in 6 days. Yes. And I'm super pumped that you got the book.
Yes.
The cool, is it like an anniversary edition? What's it say on the cover?
I think it was prompted by, it says soon to be original series on Prime, which is not a sticker. I can't take it off, which is annoying. But it's okay. It's just that one little circle.
It is a pretty book, though.
It is a pretty book. So
they had like last year come out with an anniversary edition too. That was cool looking, but it was like hardcover. Which I know you're getting better about liking hardcovers.
Oh yeah, no, I actually try to buy more books in hardcover than I used to. I used to be like strictly paperback. That was weird. I was a weird kid. But I'm
only mass market paperback.
Yeah, basically like abandoned mass market paperbacks at this point, except for Star Wars books. Fair. Except the new ones aren't coming out as mass market paperbacks; they're coming out as like traditional novels, which is fine, so that they don't match the rest of my Star Wars novels.
You can't see Anna's face, but her face did not show that it was fine at all.
I would just like them all to match, because now I have like a new Star Wars bookshelf, because they're different sizes than my old Star Wars bookshelf.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just...
Books with varying heights is frustrating, because it's like you start a series and you're doing like a certain like size for the books, and then you don't realize that that's not the same size as like when they're released, and so they release as like this big chunky hardcover version.
Yeah.
And then you want to read it right away. You don't want to wait, so you buy it anyway, but then you've got this big chunky hardcover book along with these little tiny mass market paperbacks.
Right. Yes.
Dang it.
I was subscribed to Owl Crate for a long time, and so I have quite a few YA novels that are hardcover, which is totally fine. I'm trying to find the one that I'm going to mention, because I don't remember what it's called. So I have the book Three Dark Crowns by Kendra Blake, I think. which I got from an owl crate. It's hardcover. I didn't read it right away. It was great. There's like 5 books in the series. And so I bought the second book, forgetting that the first book was a hardcover. And I bought it as paperback.
Dang it. Oh,
So,
no.
and I don't even know if they're even easy to get as hardcovers anymore because they've been out for a while and hardcovers aren't always re-released like paperbacks are.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever. That series is going to be a weird hodgepodge of hardcover, softback. It's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah.
They're YA books, so I'm not going to lose sleep over mine. But some YA books are really pretty. Okay. It's fine.
YA books have really good cover art, I will say.
They do. They
have way better cover art than adult fantasy or just like adult fiction in general. YA books have awesome cover art, which is really makes me really annoyed
agree.
that the adult fiction and adult fantasy stuff gets the dumb like okay, some minimalist covers are really cool, like some of the Lord of the Rings covers that are like the minimalist art style are cool, but like come on, man.
But you know what? I'll take the minimalist art covers over the like 90s era fantasy art.
Oh yeah, like the Dragonlance or Wheel of Time or any Terry Goodkind novel, like any of the Shannara Chronicles. Or
yes, I'll take the new minimalist art over that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The art for some of the fantasy books that are out now is actually pretty cool. Like the Hall of Smoke, which is a book that I picked up at Barnes and Noble that I haven't started yet. That has really cool cover art.
Yeah.
It's like a blue and orange, and it's like it's cool. So
yeah.
Anyway,
so okay, 40 minutes in. Let's talk about NaNoWriMo.
Educate me.
Yes. Okay, so it's National Novel Writing Month, which basically in the month of November you're challenged to write 50,000 words, which is like about the length of a novel. Not really. It's short. It depends on what genre you're writing in. Like you could get a good romance or good mystery in that amount of words. It's very short for fantasy or sci-fi.
Mistborn has over 200,000.
Yes. My thesis was 180.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, the first draft of it. Anyway, we're not going to get into that.
Yeah.
So, 50,000 words in a month, which averages to like, I think it's like 2,666 words a day, which is totally doable. It's a lot, but even if you don't finish the novel, if you hit the word count by midnight on November 30th, you're a winner. So,
nice.
Which there's like an actual website, so nanowrimo.org, I believe. I'll put the link in the description. I'm pretty sure it's .org because it's a nonprofit. So this actually began in 1999. So it's been going around for a while. Let's see. I'm trying to decide how I want to go through this. All of this information is available on the NaNoWriMo website. So you're welcome to like go and explore it more there. I was going to save like my first exposure to it for later, but I think I want to talk about that first before we go into what it is. And I'm curious what your exposure with it is. So I first heard about NaNoWriMo, I think when I was in college. I don't think I had heard about it in high school. Or if I had heard about it, I had only ever heard someone say like, "Are you doing NaNoWriMo?" And I had no idea what it was. And like didn't have the gumption to look it up. But I remember having some like friends in college that were participating in it. And because I was like an English major and a writer, they were always like, "Oh my gosh, are you doing NaNoWriMo? You should do NaNoWriMo." And I was like, "I don't know what that is." And they go, "It's National Novel Writing Month." And I go, "I have overloaded myself with classes."
So no, I'm not doing that.
So I never did it. And I also like had this weird thing in my head where I'm like, I write all year round. I don't need a novel, like a novel writing month. Which is super snobby and stupid. But you know, when you're 18, sometimes you're stupid. in fact.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, 18-year-olds. Most of the
All
time, you're
18
stupid.
All 18-year-olds listening to this, you're a moron.
Oh, gosh.
And moving on.
You don't know
I
as much
know
as you think
because,
you know.
yeah. And I know that because I was one. And I was a moron.
Yes, for sure. But I had my first attempt at it in 2014, which was when I was working on my thesis, because I had to write a high volume of words and was already dealing with a certain amount of burnout and needed some extra motivation to get the words on the page, because at that point I just needed to get something written down. And I was a pretty chronic binge writer, which basically means that I did not write every day, which is the purpose of NaNoWriMo.
Yeah.
And I would only write on the weekends. And I would bust out 20,000 words a weekend, which is bad writing habits.
Fair.
It's too much.
That's
It was 15,000 during the month of November.
I mean, that's I feel like that's just the way that I live my life, though. I operate with random bursts of energy and productivity, not not a constant stream of average productivity. It's just sit, executive dysfunction, sit, procrastination, sit, and then boom, 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 and then all the tasks on the list get knocked out in a day.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess I will give myself some credit in that I was still actively, the thesis work was not a class, it was on top of the coursework. So we were still reading a ton and writing a ton for our classes while we were also writing theses. I think that the other guys that I was in the program with were having a much better time regimenting their time than I was. But I am also going to say that I was only 23.
Right.
And they were in their 40s and 50s and 30s. They were all older than me by a lot.
They probably had more life experience to have the self-discipline and have that regimented schedule.
For sure.
You hadn't quite figured some stuff out yet.
No. Heck, I still haven't quite figured some stuff out yet. But no, they were definitely in a better mental place than I was. I think. At least that's my perception. Maybe they're listening to this and they're like, oh no, Anna. We did not have it figured out. They hit it better than I did. But I won. I completed 50,000 words in the month of November that year. And then I did 50. I got a T-shirt because you get a winner's T-shirt.
I was gonna say you wrote
if you decide to buy one,
and it says I wrote 50,000 words in a month, and all I got was this crappy T-shirt.
I'm sure they've had that design at some point. They do a new design every year, but
yeah.
So the 2014 winter shirt, I'm very proud of. It used to be that you didn't even have access to the winter stuff until you had completed and proven, because you have to copy and paste your manuscript into a word counter to verify that you actually did it. And it used to be that you couldn't access the winner's circle gear until you had verified that you had written 50,000 words. But now you can buy it whenever, which I think is kind of annoying because the small, the medium, large, extra large, and 2XL shirts are already sold out, and it's not even the middle of the month yet.
Wow.
So unless I'm
That's dumb.
Yeah. So unless I'm gonna buy a shirt that's 2 or 3 sizes bigger than I need, I will not get a winter shirt this year, which is kind of annoying. Unless they restock.
Just cut the design out and make a quilt out of it. It's fine. Make a big.
You know what?
That's
not a bad idea. I can just add it to my pile of. Okay, I'll think about that. But
You're welcome.
Thank you. I did order the mug. So there's every year they have, there's gear. There's a year design. So whether or not you're a winner, you can buy which I guess whether or not you're a winner, you can buy the winner year too. But they have a design for the year. So you can get just the the design for the year shirt. You can get it on a mug, and then they have the winner's design. So I got just, which they don't put on a mug, they just put that on a shirt. Does that make sense? Am I explaining that well?
Yeah.
So I did get the mug for this year's design. I did not get it I did not get it in the t-shirt because it's like a royal blue shirt with like very like primary color. I don't know. I know that the 90s thing is coming back.
Hard to match.
I'm trying to embrace that 90s fashion is coming back, but I just don't love it.
Yeah.
So, like the like neon and like I don't know. It's not my jam. So,
yep.
I didn't get that shirt. I may end up getting the winter shirt like in a 4XL since that's all that was available, which is not mine. It would be a good sleep shirt, I guess.
There you go. That's true.
But
a sleep dress, sleep gown.
Yeah. And then I can put it in a quilt someday, maybe. So that was my first exposure, and then my first like attempt at NaNoWriMo. I've since had attempts where I did not do well at all, and made it like the first 3 days, and then like fell off. And then I've had other years where it went really well. In 2019, I did the like exact word count every day, which I've never done. It was like the most regimented I've ever been in my writing schedule. It was glorious. I did that all while buying a house and like packing to move out of my parents' house. And I still did it, which like kudos to me, man.
Yeah.
But last year in the middle of the pandemic, I could not get it together. I could not.
There's a lot going on.
And even this year, I'm having a hard time with it. I'm very behind.
Yeah.
So what I've done is I've gotten myself like little incentive things. I know exactly what they are, but I've wrapped them up and I'm not allowed to open them or enjoy them until I hit the word count benchmarks.
There you go.
So even if it goes past November, I want to have written 50,000 words for this year.
Mm-hmm.
So,
sure.
But hopefully in November so that I can maybe order the wrong size t-shirt.
Yeah. It's so obnoxious.
I know, it's
like
wild?
I get why they did it because it's more profitable for them because they'll always sell out of everything. If everyone that even attempts it gets to buy it or not even attempt it, you can just waltz in and just buy their stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's more profitable for them. So like, of course they're going to do that. But that's so annoying. They can do that, but then they need to come out with like an exclusive shirt. Like only verified
well, that's what the winter shirt is. Like, there's a shirt with just like the year's design, and then there's a winter shirt, which is different. Like that already exists, but they like made it available for anyone.
Like if they, sure. So if they want to make more merch available for anyone to buy, that's cool. You can just make NaNoWriMo 20 whatever, and just like make a mug, make a shirt, whatever. But then keep the winners stuff, like the people that actually do it and finish.
In its bubble.
Keep that separate so that someone that actually does it can get the freaking shirt.
Right.
Like, come on.
Which I think they may have opened it up so that, because I know that like sometimes students participate in this. So I think that they opened it up so that teachers could purchase for students that completed the assignment. But
why can't the student just apply? Do you have to be over 18 or something?
Well, we'll get into that.
Okay.
Before we get into that, I want you to talk about your like experience.
My experience with NaNoWriMo is watching you suffer.
I think you're thinking of my thesis statement or my thesis project in particular, which was
except
like
for 2019
painful for other reasons.
Because 2019, I didn't even know you did it. Or I don't remember you saying you did it, but you did like the exact word count every single day. So that's like crazy. So good job.
Thank you.
But no, I remember you talking about like, oh, I need to write this many words for NaNoWriMo. Oh, I need to write. And then we'd, I don't know, binge watch Game of Thrones or something and you wouldn't write. And then or like Supernatural or Doctor Who or something. I don't know, whatever it was. and then you wouldn't write, and then
And then I wouldn't sleep.
and then yeah. But no, the thesis. Did you do NaNoWriMo like during your thesis? Like, did you submit that as part of NaNoWriMo?
Yeah, that was my first attempt at NaNoWriMo. Was the first
Okay,
chunk
so
of my
that's
thesis.
okay. So that's the one that I remember the most
Yeah.
because that was the most I have ever read in my life in that amount of time. That was the most, like, not even speed reading because I couldn't speed read it because I was kind of like being a little bit of an editor, but not like for big, like I was looking for like line edit stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I was looking for like typos or sentences that made no sense.
Which
So I
happened
was,
because I would write sleep deprived. So I had sentences that like were fever dreams.
yeah, yeah. There were like towards the end, like the last chapter, I remember there was like, it was like one of the last paragraphs was just feverish and made no sense.
Mm-hmm.
I remember showing it to you and you were like, yeah, that was probably 2 a.m.
I have no idea what I was trying to say.
I remember sitting downstairs in mom and dad's place with you sitting on the couch, me sitting at my desk, uh, reading through your thesis with like OSTs playing in the background, like fantasy OSTs for inspiration for you while you're
Uh-huh.
writing. And I don't think you knew at the time, but there were definitely some Attack on Titan OSTs that got snuck in there.
I definitely
So,
did not know.
um, so yeah, that's just kind of funny to me now. But yeah, that because I read all of the all of your thesis, which was however many words you said for the first attempt or whatever.
It was like 180,000 words. It was absurd.
So I basically read that your whole book in
3 months. Because that's when I wrote it, in 3 months.
but I didn't start when you started.
No.
Like I didn't start reading it and like helping you find line edits until like towards the end. So it felt like I read your entire book in like a week. Like I remember reading like 100 pages a day. Like
Yeah, that's probably very accurate.
and yeah, I mean I'm not gonna say it was it's so brutal. Oh, it was the worst thing ever. Because like if you need me to do that again, I totally would for you. But like
I'm not,
that.
no crying on the podcast.
But like that that was a lot of reading. That was the most I have read ever in one sitting.
Yeah. I am so appreciative of you for reading that because it was also a first draft. So I know that it was not necessarily a fun reading experience because first drafts are awful. 9 times out of 10. No,
right.
10 out of 10.
I mean, it wasn't like hot steaming garbage. I mean,
no, but there are
the
major
areas that
issues.
The areas that were like illegible were. I knew the reason they were like that, and I knew that it would get fixed.
I just needed someone else to tell me where they were so that I could
You know,
fix them.
you know where you needed to, you know what issues you needed to fix, Anna? The setting.
Always. Always. Even this year for NaNoWriMo, I'm like, I don't even know what this looks like. They're at
Setting
a river.
descriptions.
There's a river. What else do I have to say about the river? I don't know. Why am I like this? Okay.
Anyway, yeah, so that's my experience with NaNoWriMo. I have never participated. Shocker. But
I think you should sometime. Just for like the fun of it.
yeah. Sometime. Not this year.
Yeah.
It's already the 13th.
Yeah, you're a little late. But you know what?
But I could have gone on and bought the t-shirt anyway.
Yes. No, I was going to say it wouldn't take you long to catch up with where I'm at because I haven't even hit 10,000 words yet.
Oh.
So, but I'm hoping to do that today. We'll see.
Cool.
Okay, so more about NaNoWriMo as a nonprofit organization because I learned a lot about it. Is that...
So you're about to tell me where the profits for all these t-shirts goes, right? Because...
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a nonprofit organization that supports writing fluency and education.
Cool.
So they have the Young Writers Program, which is a classroom option for those under 13. So if you're 13 or older, you can sign up with your own email address, like what I do. If you're younger, your teacher can sign you up. Like your teacher can make like a teacher account for their classroom and like put people in that way. And in this Young Writers Program, there are prompts that like students are given and other resources to like aid with story development, character development, setting. Maybe I should sign up and try it. Have a full master's degree, but still need help with setting.
Just go watch on YouTube the Brandon Sanderson world building lecture that he made from his college lectures. Just a world building one.
It's everything else. I can develop religions, characters, like country structures.
Yeah.
More or less. But like,
it's the nature stuff.
What does the ground look like? It just always looks like Nebraska in my head.
Flat.
Flat. Which is not cool because a lot of my stuff takes place in mountains. And in forests. But
you should go move to Colorado.
Maybe I should. I do love Colorado. But anyway, so yeah, there's like all these like prompts and things for the students to use, and then you can also create your own personal challenges as well. So like you can set word count goals, you can set like there's a bunch of stuff in there, which I didn't sign up for an account, so I couldn't see all of the stuff that's available in the Young Writers Program, but just what NaNoWriMo shows like as a like informative thing was really cool. So yeah, if there's any like teachers listening to this and you want to get your students like more engaged with writing and make it more fun, for creative writing, I should say. It's definitely not geared towards essay writing, which is a totally different beast. But for creative writing purposes, like you should definitely look up NaNoWriMo's Young Writers Program because it looked really cool. So yeah, so the profits that they get from the t-shirts and like you may see on PayPal, I don't know if you use PayPal, but sometimes, and maybe I just get it because I have a NaNoWriMo account. They'll ask if you want to like round up to $1 to donate to NaNoWriMo and other things. And it goes to support these young writer programs, which is cool. So, in addition to the nonprofit, like Young Writers thing, they also host write-ins, which like during pandemic time, not really a thing, but in prior years, like when you're signed into NaNoWriMo and you're tracking your word count and all of that, you can go up and see like other writers participating in your area if they have that enabled for theirs. And there's like message boards, so it's an online like social media network as well. So there's message boards. You can meet up with people in your area and do like write-ins at cafes or libraries. Like my area doesn't have a lot of people that participate or at least participate in write-ins, so I've never done that. But I know that there are some like big city areas with a lot of creatives that's very popular and people really enjoy it. And like the message board is super cool, so you can check in with people and be like, hey, how's it going? So obviously I have college friends that participate every once in a while, and so you can like have buddies on there and you can see how their progress is tracking through the month and like encourage each other. It's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So I talked about the Young Writers Program. There are similar things and features for just like general NaNoWriMo use.
NaNoWriMo.
NaNoWriMo. Oh my gosh.
NaNoWriMo.
NaNoWriMo users.
Yeah.
Like they have pep talks from authors, like whether that's a blog post or a video post, that have either participated in NaNoWriMo before or just really support what they're doing. You also get like badges and trackers. So as you complete certain things, like you'll get a notification like, hey, you unlocked a new badge. And it's just like a little icon on your screen of like, you wrote 3 days in a row.
Congrats.
It's just fun. Like it's gimmicky, but it's cute and it's like good motivation. And it's kind of cool to see how many authors have participated, like whether their debut novel was like born out of a NaNoWriMo, or like they use it as like good motivation for their sequels or whatever. It's kind of cool. And it's cool to be on book Twitter and see like the authors that are participating there too. Because they'll like be like, oh my gosh, I decided to jump on NaNoWriMo and I'm working on this book and blah, blah, blah. It's just fun.
Nice.
Yeah. So they have other things as well besides just NaNoWriMo and the Young Writers Program. They also do Camp Memoir, which I was not... So, okay, hold on. There's Camp NaNoWriMo, which happens in April and July. And they function pretty much the same as November, but you can do like non-word count goals, like editing goals. And I think I might do that next year because honestly, I have a few projects that could use some editing, but it's hard to feel motivated. So if I to do it, so maybe that would help me feel motivated. But they do Camp Memoir, so that's like, from my understanding, it's you're writing like autobiographical nonfiction. There's NaNoWriMo, which is like finish the novel that you started in NaNoWriMo.
Nice.
And then there's, I didn't look into this a whole lot because it is not my forte, but Camp NaNoWriMo the musical, where you like write a musical.
Fun.
So yeah, why not?
It's cute.
So some of this I think is geared more towards, I don't want to say it's geared more towards teens because that's probably not true, but geared toward a very specific like niche of people, which is totally cool. My favorite part, which I haven't even touched on, is the stinking tracker, because it's incredible. So you put it on the website. There's like a little drop down, and you put in what your word count is, and it tracks for you on a graph. You can either look at it as like a line graph, which is how I look at it, or you can look at it as a bar graph, and it will show you like if you're hitting your word count goal, and it like tells you what your average like word count is. Like, your daily average is this, because a lot of people, well, I don't know. The one year that I was like on track was awesome.
Yeah.
It's a little painful right now.
Yeah.
It's like your daily average is 200 words. Oh, shut up.
It's 20 words.
No, but like the tracker is really cool. And I always like lamented that it wasn't available year round, but it is now. They've updated the website so that it's available all the time. And you can start projects not just in November and like track the word count on them.
Nice. That's
Very
really
cool.
cool, actually.
I know. Like, seriously, if you're a writer and you haven't like created an account on NaNoWriMo.org, you need to do it, because there are so many resources and things that make writing fun. I mean, writing is fun, but it's nice to have extra stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure. That graph is, I'm sure that's like the most useful aspect of the whole thing.
Oh, it really is. And you can also like track, so you can track like where you're writing. So it'll tell you like, oh, you mostly write at home, or you mostly write at the coffee shop, or you mostly write wherever.
Right.
The library. You can also like say, while I was writing this, it'll have like little emojis when you put in your word count. It'll be like, how are you feeling while you were writing? And you can choose like happy, sad, mad, frustrated, whatever. I don't usually select one because
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why I don't. I just don't. I don't necessarily want to know how like distressed I am while I'm writing.
Yeah.
I don't want to remember if I was like having a hard time of it. But so that's a newer feature. You can also set timers for like a writing timer now. So you can go in and say, I want to write for an hour. And then once the hour is up, the browser will like yell at you. and you have to put in what your word count is, and then it will tell you like, oh my gosh, look at how well you did for an hour.
Nice.
Or it'll be like, wow, you didn't do anything for an hour. But
wow, you loser.
no, it's always super positive and like very encouraging. It's great. I really love NaNoWriMo and like what they're doing as a nonprofit. It's pretty cool. So yeah. So any questions? This is like a crash course on NaNoWriMo.
Yeah, it's cool though. I learned. I didn't know it was a nonprofit. I was really cynical about the T-shirt sales thing. I was like, they're just trying to pocket more money, and I hate it.
I know. Do you feel bad now?
I thought that. Yeah, a little bit. Well, now it's like, oh, they wanted more money. Ugh, what a bunch of jerks! They're just all about the money. Oh, and then it's like, oh, all the money gets donated to to make kids be better writers. Like, oh, well, okay, that's okay then. In that case,
but also I'm annoyed about the shirt though. Still,
in that case, you need to make more shirts.
Yes, and maybe they will.
So, yeah, that's cool though. Someday, I'd like to participate.
You should.
It'd be fun.
It's just a nice.
Have to come up with a
nice
story
to set a
first.
goal for yourself. Oh, you've got stories in you, for sure. Easy.
Yeah. It'd be fun. Yeah. And then you can read all of it and make line edits in a single week and see how you like it.
I would be honored. I don't know if I can promise a week turnaround, but I would be honored.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Cool. That was cool though. It was really interesting.
Yeah. So we had a lot of talk about other stuff, but since it is November,
that's what happens when, the reason the other stuff went so long is because we skipped a week and we didn't get to talk about it before. So
that's true. That's very true.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
So, if you're not, you should be reading The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie with us and tuning into the read along. It's very different from what we've read previously. Mm-hmm. It's getting good. For sure.
It is getting good now. The part one was like, it was interesting, but it was rough to like stay interested. Mm-hmm. But now I'm like, we're in it now.
Yep.
Now I need to know. Like, I need to know what happens now. So join us there. When this goes up, we will have released part 2 already, and part 3 will be next week. Yeah.
So let's see. I just said this for our other recording, but if you want to catch up, you'll read until you get to the Flatheads.
The Flatheads.
Actually, it's just called Flatheads. Is the chapter.
Flatheads. Gotcha.
Yep. So, which we'd love to have you over there.
Yeah. So, until next time, go read something cool or write something cool.
Yes.
This is NaNoWriMo.
And we'll talk at you next time.
Later.
Bye.